Our nation lost an extraordinary hero yesterday. It's with great sadness and a heavy heart that I inform you that Dr. Peter Vincent Pry passed away yesterday on the 20th of August, 22, with his family at his side, fortunately. He had a long battle with cancer. In fact, even just before the last video, he had a major tumor taken out, the last video I did with him. And really hoping he would make it, but it got him down again. I was really had hoped to do some more interviews with him, but fate just wouldn't have it that way. So what you need to know is that Dr. Pry worked extremely hard for decades on our nation's power grid to get it hardened and to alert us to our present weaknesses with our nuclear forces, which could tempt Russia or China to actually launch a first strike upon America. But I'll say I was very fortunate to count Dr. Pry as a friend. I've known him since 2015. And I had him as a special guest at both of my Power Grid Defense conferences in 2016 and 2018. Not only he spoke at both conferences, but the 2018 conference, he was our special dinner guest. And he spoke about the Space Force. Space Force, yes. Because back then it was not known that we would get a Space Force. So, incredible individual. But I also had him come back to Alabama a third time to go with Dr. Steve Nixon, the U.S. Army EMP expert, and myself to testify before several Alabama officials at our state capitol in Montgomery. I'm going to say he was a great leader in the realm of national security, and he was an extraordinary communicator. As both a historian and a nuclear weapons specialist, expert, that is, Dr. Price saw what we faced in our society today through a lens of realism, which is rare in our world today. And with the current tensions in the world today, I'd say it is time to take heed of his messages, because our time to do so may be very short indeed. So, in a nutshell, what did Dr. Pry talk to us about? Well, he was very much involved in trying to get our power grid hardened. He was on the Congressional EMP Task Force, and later he started his own task force on EMP and National Homeland Security, which I myself am a member of. I'm the Alabama State Director. So, and I've had Dr. Pry on my channel 5 times at least, and I've had his National Director for Operations in the EMP Task Force of National Homeland Security, Glenn Rhodes, on once, and I had the Deputy Director of Operations on the National Task Force EMP and Homeland Security, David Pine, on several times too. So we're a community in our group, and it's a bit disconcerting. But let's get to it. What does he got to take heed of? He talked about the risk to our power grid and why we need to harden it, and also why you need to prep just in case we don't, because we've drug our feet too long, and it may be too late now. We may be in harm's way real fast now. But it's not just the threat of EMP. There's the threat of direct ballistic attack upon our power grid. There's the threat of the sun. If we don't do anything, so a lot of people say, "Oh, nothing will happen. This ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen." You just worry. It's all gonna be fine. If we sit around and do nothing, the sun's gonna take out our power grid if we don't get hard. The sun will do it. And some people say, "Well, all the powers that be are going to do." Well, all the powers that want to take out our power grid. All they got to do is keep doing what they're doing, which is nothing, and it will go down. So that's the real point. Part of the point I've been trying to add to that based on comments I get. If somebody wants to take our power grid down, they ain't gonna do nothing. Just wait. It'll happen. Just don't harden it, right? What we're doing today. So, and it's more than power grid. He talked about national defense. He talked about why our force structure makes us very vulnerable to a first strike. On that in a second. Let's get back to the power grid. One of the things that makes us vulnerable to the first strike is if you take out our power grid, 9 out of 10 Americans, according to the EMP Congressional Task Force, would be dead. Will be dead in within a year. Within a year. Of course, I told Dr. Brown I thought that was a very positive number, actually optimistic number, and he gave my rationale. But I've covered that on my videos on this channel about why so many people really aren't gardening and growing truly sustainable gardens. How most farmers don't even have a garden. Most of them are not really raising food for them to eat. They're raising market food. It's a very different thing. You need a homestead. You need to be raising your food. Talk about that a lot. I'm read for that. Dr. Brown was a pepper himself. And for a while, he had some of the videos you might notice he had a flag behind him, draped in this big log cabin he lived in. He lived in a historic log cabin. That was a prepper seclusion place for him. But as his health got bad, he went back toward town, unfortunately. So he warned us about so much that you really need to pay attention. Our power grid's got to get hardened if we can do it. And we got plenty of actions. I'm going to show you his website for the task force, and I'm going to show you the videos that I've covered with him. You really need to watch these videos. Dr. Pry was very witty, very bright. He could really see things unlike very few people could. And I was, I guess, most fortunate to have had the opportunity to sit around dinner and talk with him. And I've got to say, I've been the executive vice president for 9 years of the National Space Society. I was chairman of the executive committee for a year, and I was chairman of the policy committee of the National Space Society for 10 years. And in those roles, at our conferences, of which one I chaired before then even, I got to sit at the dinner table with a lot of dignitaries, including a lot of high-level astronauts, and even the Secretary of Transportation once in the United States. And I got to sit with many other great individuals and movie stars too, TV stars actually, and movie stars. These are the kind of people that came to our conferences. And I got to say something. I had a lot of good in there and many other places. A lot of really good dinner conversations in my life. But I got to say, the most intellectually stimulating dinner conversation, the most intellectually engaging dinner conversations I ever had was at Dr. Pry. And it was very stimulating, very engaging, and really good conversations. I really enjoyed just sitting down and talking with Dr. Fry. And we have had some phone conversations over the years. And as you might imagine, I'm a state director of the task force he started, and have been a long time member of this Power Grid Defense Conference community, I should say, since 2015. So I've got to participate in many other conferences through his organization, and also Secure the Grid Coalition, which is a whole other organization that's trying to get the grid hardened. That I'm participating in their activities, and so did Dr. Pry. Dr. Pry gave so much of his personal life toward trying to get these things taken care of, to try to make the future of this nation more secure, to make our freedoms more secure. He was no fan of the deep state. He would run them down all the time, even though he had been an employee of the CIA once upon a time. He definitely saw through things. He saw where people were missing things. And one of the key things you should really watch is where he talked about how, and I've talked about this in many of my videos too since, how through things like taking down our grid. Oh yeah, by the way, he always said if we were going to get attacked, it would be a multi-pronged attack like against our grid. That they would cyber attack it, that they would hit it with kinetic attacks, like shooting out substations, and an EMP altogether. That's what is firmly believing. That was actually in the doctrine of some Russia and China, that they would launch a multi-pronged attack against us. So he very much emphasized that, and in many of the videos he has talked about how Russia and China, either one, could fight a nuclear war against the United States and defeat us. A lot of people think, well, mutual assured destruction, nobody's going to launch a war like that. No, Putin himself has said on numerous occasions that one day he would fight a war with America and he would win. He said he could fight and win a nuclear war. Putin has said that. So they don't buy into this mutually assured destruction. Indeed, they have no real reason to, because they have these huge underground cities. Moscow's got huge bunkers for, they can cover up 40 million people all over. So it's crazy how the Russians are prepared, and how the Russians are prepared for their citizens. What has our government done for you? You got a seat in a bunker somewhere? I don't even know anybody that does. Well, I might know I might have met some of them when I was running the halls in Congress, maybe. So maybe a couple of them people around the dinner table, like, you know, department level secretary under the president. Yeah, they might know something like that. I have a ticket, but I don't. You don't. Nobody in my personal life does. So, guys, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a real risk here. Again, this whole thing about nuclear first strike is that with weapons that they possess, they could take out our strategic missile force, EMP our country. Well, everybody's always take out our airfields, the submarine bases. Everybody's always, oh, but the submarines at sea, they'll strike back. Nobody strikes because they'll get them. No, they won't. They don't have comms. We're talking about taking out the satellites that we use for comms, or by direct attack, the anti-missile systems, and EMP. EMP can take out satellites too. EMP can take out all our ground communications. Oh, well, Greg, our facilities are hardened. Yeah, the 50,000 volts per meter, whereas their EMP super weapons put out 200,000. So, yeah, good luck with that. So, our subs at sea, they don't launch. They have interlocks in their mechanisms that authorize a launch, which do not allow launch without both an EAM, emergency alert message, and a validation of that message. They got to get both the message and the validation before they can launch. Those sub commanders, they're doing nothing. I mentioned this many times. I'm ringing old bells here, but Dr. Fry has actually explained how the Russians could launch all, their submarines don't even have to be at sea, how they can launch them from their ports. He's done that on my channel. He's also mentioned that on Canadian Prepper too. He's talked about these kind of things. So, and a lot of us are thinking, well, Russia is, just going to blow over and blow away. Well, maybe they will, but he was concerned that they might be, playing possum, as we in the South would call it, essentially pulling a Napoleon Battle of Leipzig type scenario where he feigns weakness and then lures everybody in and strikes them. Now his weapons are most of his weapon systems are inferior. His troops are not as well trained. But the right kind of trap, he could put a real hurt on U.S. forces. Ukraine is really the best Europe's got to offer. They had the most tanks, and Ukraine's a huge country. So don't diminish Ukraine and then think NATO's going to have a cakewalk. Don't expect that. You just don't know. But all that aside, what Russia does have is tactical and strategic nuclear weapons, and lots of them, more than we have. So they may be tempted to use them. I'll talk more about that. I may do another video tonight. This video I originally planned to do, I wanted to do yesterday. I just couldn't do it, guys. And look, guys, I went to 2 farmers markets Friday and Saturday, and I did we ran live worms today, so I just wasn't able to get out here and get this video out as soon as I'd like to. I've known about this since last night. I posted in the community section of my page this morning, but I knew it'd take some time to put a video together. I just didn't have the time earlier. So I just want you guys to know, I'm going to share the videos of Dr. Pry. I will show them right here. Hang on a minute. Just got to pull up the right screen. Screen's up, guys. That gets to be a pain on this one screen I got here. Okay, we're going to share screen. Go to my channel, hit the videos button, then hit the search button. And I think I searched on Peter Pry or Peter, Dr. Pry, Dr. Peter, something like that. Anyway, losing World War III. Superpower confrontation missile crisis. World War III brink with Russia. Is China developing first strike? Down here, Cybergeddon. I don't know how that got to be Pallet Peter. I don't know. So, that's the 5. There may be some other videos in here. Yeah, there's one with David Pine. And here's one with Glenn Rhodes. Glenn Rhodes and David Pine and I are all in Dr. Pry's organization. I'm going to show you that right now. Here it is, the Task Force on National and Homeland Security. I usually call it the EMP Task Force, but it's the Task Force on National and Homeland Security. and its page is EMP. Now, see, that's the thing. You don't say in the exhibition line, but the URL is emptaskforce.us. I will share the links to this in my videos and the notes below. Make it easier to find them. He's got a lot of books. You will want to watch the videos of Dr. Pry. You will want to watch these videos because they tell you a lot. There's a lot here on this website that goes into a lot of details here. A lot of articles you can read. He's got books. I'll show you one in a minute. One thing. He's written several books, lots of articles. He spoke conferences, lectures. That's the Secure the Grid Coalition I also participate in. And you can go there from here and find this website that's also loaded with a lot of information about the electrical grid. But Dr. Pry talks about a lot more than electrical grid, or he did talk about a lot more than electrical grid. Our very national defense structure, strategy, why we're weak, why we have attempted through our weakness to make it easy for the enemy, any enemy to take us out with the first strike. And I've talked about that. We've talked about it with videos of Dr. Pry. So check all this stuff out, guys. There's a lot of materials in here. Videos about EMP, news, call to action. I've done the videos about EMP on my channel, quite a few of them. These are some high-end production videos here, done by professional producers. One of which I've been supporting. This one started at my first Power Grid Defense Conference, the one called Black Sky. This video began at it was at my 2018 Power Grid Defense Conference, not the 2016 one. Oh yeah, and I've interviewed the producer also on this channel, this one and another video a couple of times. So you can check these out, guys. Go in here and check it all out. But Dr. Pry also, let me stop with share. Here with this book, Blackout Wars. This is one of my favorite books because in the back of it, it tells you how to contact state representatives and federal representatives, things to do, say, various ways to get the grid hardened, the cost. Yeah, they even puts forms in here. Forms free. This is such a how-to book, you know, right people, you know, so you fill the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Yeah, generic EMP bill. He threw a lot of stuff in. He was doing everything he could, come up with ways to try to get this stuff done. So, but this book is like, oh, let me write this, probably 10 years old now. Yeah, 2011. Let's see here. Oh no, his last update was 2015, the year before my conference, first conference. He wrote a nice note to me. G.H. Allison, the great American, Dr. Peter Pry. Anyway, and he was a great American, absolutely, because he cared about the country. He was a patriot, big time. So I've gone on long enough here. I just want y'all to see that. I am going to share the sites, the links, and just know this, guys. Know that you need to watch what he said. Contact your representatives. And you can also use my freedomrestorationfoundation.org website, because it tells you all kinds of details about how to contact representatives and gives you the phone numbers, the switchboard numbers, how to find them, websites, how to find your congressional representative, your 2 senators, and your state representatives, how to track bills, all that's in the Action Center on EMP. Freedom Restoration Foundation. Excuse me, guys. I'm tired. I should have been a lot quicker this video. I meant to go through this stuff real fast, but it's late. And I actually wanted to do a couple other videos today. I don't know. I'm pulling that off. But anyway, finally, I'm going to close. I'm going to say that my prayers are with his family. Dr. Pry, and he always told me to call him Peter. Dr. Pye will be greatly missed by myself and our entire power grid defense community. That's my podium placard right there. Like I said, I chaired 2 power grid defense conferences, and he was at both of them. And so was Ambassador Cooper, Hank Cooper, the man who was the Pentagon level head, Pentagon department head of the Strategic Initiative Organization, SDO, which is popular known as Ronald Reagan's Star War program. And that's the poster I got from the days that I worked on that program. So with that, I'm going to say, guys, check the videos out. Go watch these videos. Watch any other videos you can find on the other channel. Nate with the Canadian Paper Discovery. Rex Barrett asked me for his contacts. I shared it with Rex Curtin on the LEAP project. Rex Barrett did a really good interview with him. So, guys, hunt this stuff down. Find those interviews. Check out EMP Task Force website, which is again mptaskforce.us, and I will put the links below in the show notes and in the pin notes. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching, and Greg out.